On the ground. It's hot. It's hot out here. Oh my god.
Dude, you might. Dude, you're gonna make it.
Oh, if you whack your head, dude, I got. Dude, if you whack your head, I got it on camera. Show your mom the video.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Let's do it, buddy.
Go, go.
Woo! Do it. Do it. Do it. Go, Josh!
Hit my head.
Who cares? You go head first into the trash can and we'll all laugh.
Jump first.
Austin, you do it.
No.
Here, wait.
I don't fucking know how to do front flip.
Dude, you're gonna fall your ass on the lap.
You cheater! You cheater!
I would have hit my head if I did it.
You chicken!
Jump over it.
Here.
No, you should have damn it.
Split his nuts on it!
Practice.
Come on.
Jump over Destiny.
Okay, the height is
Have her
this.
like
Okay.
sit down.
Okay.
I'm trusting you.
Trusting you.
Come on. Go.
Ball
Just
second.
do a front flip. Just practice.
Everyone root for Josh!
Go.
There.
Josh!
Oh yeah, he's gonna make it.
No, he's gonna hit his head. That's exactly what it is.
You gotta put it really close up there.
Dude, wait, hold on. I'm gonna go get your sister and brother.
No.
So that way they can see you die.
Fuck you.
I got it on camera, Kyler!
I'm afraid I'm gonna hit my fucking head.
Well then, we'll send a note to your mom saying you're being a dumbass.
Wait. Move
Or just show her the videos off mine and Caden's phone.
Yeah, see if it's you
Phone.
can make it this high. Okay, go, Josh. Go.
Hold on, hold on.
Lost a little bag and rope out in Taryn. Watch this.
Oh,
Andrew.
He's telling.
You guys are far this one too.
You got this, Josh!
He's not gonna make it.
You have as far as 20 minutes so far too.
I feel like I'm gonna fucking die.
Come on. Just do it.
Just die! Just die! Just die!
Girls out there who like you.
What time is it?
Come on, we got 5 minutes. Yeah, we got.
Fuck, I feel like I'm gonna die.
We got
Come
6.
on.
We got 6 minutes.
Josh, you can do it.
Here you go.
Oh!
You're freaking messy.
Okay, you gotta do it again. Do it again.
I missed it.
That was awesome. My feet hurt.
Can I do a backflip, Brennan?
I can't do a backflip. It takes too much time. I can do a backflip on a trampoline, but hell no off of this. No.
He's catwalking!
Austin, I'm not cheating on you, buddy.
Try to do 2 front flips.
Hold on.
No, you're cheating on this. What? On her with this kid. Oh, you got it.
I gotta take a piss.
Oh!
Dude, he landed all the way. He landed like freaking back. Can you replay that? Replay that. Replay that. That part.
Dude, I got it, but I moved.
It fucking hurts my feet so bad.
Didn't,
Dude, did you like put a spin in it?
No, no.
Did you put a spin
I
in it?
went front
Watch
and
if he
spun.
lands on his neck.
Yeah, because you
Break his neck. I guess I get whatever what his health touches.
Oh!
Try to run backwards to do a backflip.
What the hell happened?
Gosh, King Kong.
Here, I'll do a backflip.
Feet fucking hurt.
So I'm cheating on her with that kid over there.
My feet hurt so fucking bad.
Get this on video.
bell ring!